Hello and welcome to Connect. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. On today's show, we'll have Troy Davies, the new CEO for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation. As always, we'd like to connect with you. Follow us on Facebook at ConnectYXE, catch past interviews on YouTube, email us at connectyxe@gmail.com, or leave a message at 306-665-3796. The Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation has a new CEO, Troy Davies. He's with us in the studio today. Troy, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
I know.
Connected Randy Shabilo.
You're here in person. Let's talk about you and a man about town, familiar face in many fronts. You've had an interesting career in the paramedic world that led before this. Let's go there first. And how did you get involved in that?
Yeah, I know I started right when I was 20, so it's been a good career, a great career, and a lot of really, really good mentors over my time there. And it was, the mindset when you're 20s was just focused on paramedics and working out at Sask Air Ambulance and, being an advanced care paramedic in the city and maybe a supervisor type thing. And it takes mentors to give you just different paths in life. And Dave Duchek was our owner of MD Ambulance at the time, which is what it was called. And he kind of came to me and said, we need someone to talk on the media, and you seem to be a guy who can, blurb and blab a lot. So we're going to try you out on that. I said, I have no background whatsoever. He's like, you can trial by error, and we'll just throw you on TV type thing. And then in addition to that, kind of taking a more community role, which was in his path at the time with the chamber, and then asking me to serve on the Chamber of Commerce board. And at the time I thought it was a bank, and I've never been on a board, and I'm like, what do you do? And so it was, that kind of just propelled into a kind of a different direction in addition to just doing the paramedic job. So like I said, it's a journey.
So with the air ambulance, did that take you throughout Saskatchewan, or how did that work?
Yeah, Saskatchewan Air Ambulance is an unknown in this province, and they should be known. They've been around for well over 70 years, and they fly, I think it's up over, don't quote me, but around 350 missions across the province and all across the province, picking up patients and bringing them back to Saskatoon. So that was a side gig for me. I worked the street and work Air Am, and it was kind of fun times, but that's where I first got I believe I was probably about 24 or 25, where I realized I was taking a lot of kids in the plane to Edmonton, to the Children's Hospital. And I didn't understand why we transporting kids outside of province. And again, naive, not really understanding the politics or the fact that we didn't even have a Children's Hospital, or the specialized pediatrics doctors that we have today. So that's where it kind of all started on the Children's Hospital side. But it's being in that role at MD Ambulance and now Medivie Health Services West of, being the community guy and being on TV a lot, opened up a lot of doors for me to serve on lots of boards and, like yourself, kind of just be involved in the community in a lot of different paths and meeting partnerships and relationships, and that's what Saskatchewan's all about. So,
with your travels over the years, and this isn't just landing on a highway and taking children or people in an air ambulance somewhere. This would be a scheduled transfer per se?
Fixed wing King airplanes is what they were, at not Stars. So Stars is helicopter based. Yeah. So it's like I said, it was just another path. And what was great about Saskatoon and EMS in this city is that for the paramedics working the street, there's so many avenues. It's so diverse now, where you can be a community paramedic one day, you can work in the ER, you can work at, with police and their cells. You can be on the street. You can fly at Air Am. So it's you don't have that tunnel vision where you're just doing calls in an ambulance all day. And some choose to do that, but others choose to be diverse in what they get to do.
So that career is about 30 years, I would imagine. For
it was 30 years on the dime, pretty much a couple of weeks ago. So I started when I was 5.
Yes, of course. I have no doubt. So, And when you look back, I guess you're bringing all of that with you to the table for the Children's Hospital Foundation. There must be a number of needs that you see, along with your expertise as a paramedic. How does your job work in terms of funding required? Does it start with the medical teams? Does it start with the public saying, I have kids with this need? we should have that here?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I got to give a shout out to Brimbo Back Lane because it was back when there was a Children's Health and Hospital Foundation back in the day. And so many great board members, and community leaders, Grant Cook, Greg Yule, Jim Yule. And, today we got Lawrence Givlishin and Gord Broda coming in from PA. So, just a lot of great leadership from that top down and really guided the ship on, you need to think big. You need to think bigger, and you need to have our own children's hospital. And, back, 15, 20 years ago in Saskatchewan, that was something we just didn't do.
Dream, yeah.
And dreams, we just felt that we had to go to a different province to make those dreams happen. And luckily now we're in that spot where not only do we have a children's hospital, what we've had for the last 5 years, we have over 83,000 kids coming per year to the hospital, 575 communities from across the province, and the specialized equipment so that back when I was in my 20s flying these kids to Edmonton, they're staying here now. They're being treated here now. The families are staying within this province, and they're not having to leave the province. So that was kind of my passion as to why I really wanted to get into this. And on the fundraising side, again, luckily, a lot of mentors again, where we were able to start a group called Synergy 8 Community Builders 16 years ago. And working with Bryn and her team and some other foundations in the city here on certain capital campaigns, really had a lot of success thanks to so many donors. I think we've raised over $17 million and buying pieces of equipment and health buses and stuff like that. But without Saskatchewan business owners, corporate donors giving back to the community, none of this stuff happens. And that's, you and I know, we've been at multiple events where every night you can be at an event, but every night they're almost sold out. And we're a population of 300,000 people in the city. That's pretty phenomenal.
It's a testament to, I guess, the fabric and the culture of people that we have here and that community spirit that we live. If you look at keeping the families together, you mentioned travel and so on. Do other people travel here from Manitoba or Alberta, or is it just limited to Saskatchewan alone?
No, there are definitely kids who aren't from the province who get treated there, and no kid would ever be turned away by any means. So even if they're visiting or whatever that might be. But, even my biggest eye-opener of being in the job for the last, roughly 6 weeks is that there's so much things happening behind the scenes from, the staff at Jim Pattison's Children's Hospital Foundation side of it, from a donor side, which is kind of where I was at before with our Synergy 8 group, kind of hand a check and say, you're welcome, it's easy, here you go,
Good
capital's
luck.
done. No, there's so much infrastructure behind the scenes happening on, just making sure those dollars are done, tracking, making sure the stats are kept, that it's making sense that you bought this machine and it's improving, health and wealth for kids. And programs like, when families are stuck at the hospital where they have food programs, they have gift cards to make sure they're taken care of, like so many unsung heroes working behind the scenes, not just our staff, but from social services to the nurses and docs that are in those places. So
you bring up an interesting point with staff. That has to be a beacon, I would imagine, for anyone who might take a nursing or a specialty career in pediatrics, that must be a place that I can go practice. Are we an attractive city to come to work at the hospital there?
I believe we are. We've a new head of pediatrics with Dr. Terry Clausen, and he's got a ton of passion, and he's looking to get the best here. And we already have, I would say, the best, but I might be a little naive on that, and maybe a little pro-Saskatchewan on that side, but I would say the job's never done. And to see that, the government is currently supporting and SHA is supporting that we have the best possible people in this province, I see no reason why we don't keep dreaming. It doesn't stop, and that's the other thing that I've learned is as soon as we built the hospital, everyone thought, okay, the hospital's built, we're good.
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. It's ongoing, and so it doesn't stop. So even though this 5-year anniversary just recently happened of the hospital, it's ongoing every day to make sure that kids have the best possible tools in their equipment box for the doctors who are treating them to make sure that they're getting the best possible patient care.
You mentioned 83,000. Is it visits or children that have passed through the doors?
Visits over the last year, yeah.
In 1 year?
Yeah. So 575 communities across the province, which is crazy. But you walk the hallways, and we recently did a tour with the federal minister was in town, and Minister Cockrell was with us as well. And to do that tour and just see everything that's happening and where kids are from. They're, some families are traveling up to 6 hours just to come in and get some treatment done. And so it's important that we have those underlying, behind the scenes that nobody really knows. It's happening every day, where we're taking care of not just the child, but the family who are there. Because, I'm sure, if you've ever been to the hospital with your children, and I have with mine, it's as soon as, I'm a paramedic and I should be prepared to take them and understand this. Well, as soon as my daughter,
Sure.
scatterbrain.
Yep.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I got to take her to the hospital, because it's just, you get blinded and you're in shock, because this is the worst possible day of your life for a lot of these families. So realizing that not only the child's there and they're going through something that could be tragic, could be life-threatening, could be minor, you're also dealing with those parents, and you have the opportunity to try to make them as comfortable as possible, so then when they leave that hospital, the children's hospital, they feel good about the treatment that they received, not just what their child received.
I can't imagine, 4 children that I've had, that everyone has been very healthy. But meeting and seeing people that go through this, it's just a blessing of sorts that we have you and the foundation doing this to keep everybody here. What do you see as opportunities for people to get involved with the foundation and keep this going?
Oh yeah, we do. We definitely need donors. It's not done by any means, and we have some capital campaigns coming up. And if you just go to pattisonchildrens.ca, our website, or just Google Jim Pattison's Children's Hospital Foundation, you'll find our website, and everything is listed right on that website. Or you can just call any of our staff, and they'll be happy to walk you through it. But there is a lot of opportunity to give back, and that's what's great about it. And we have a ton of volunteers who choose to do that. And our Jeans and Jewels Gala is coming up May 9th, and then the Uyghurs Care for Kids is 2 weeks later, and it's a couple great events that we rely on these events to make sure that we can keep these families happy, right? So it's like I said, there's a ton of great organizations looking for donors, and we're one of them.
Well, you're doing great work, and on behalf of the community, thank you, and to everyone at the hospital, foundation, and staff, God bless you with that. We'll see you at the events.
Absolutely. We'll have a dance-off.
Okay. That's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Troy Davies, the CEO for the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation, and thank all of you for watching. I'm your host, Randy Shavilo. We'll see you next time on Connect.